Hello, welcome to computerbasic.burningmonkey.net. I'm your host, Burningmonkey, and this episode will be based on motherboards. So let's get to it. So right here on the back of the motherboard, we have PS2 ports, which take care of your mouse and your keyboard. So the light green port is for your mouse, and the purple port is for your keyboard. Next, we have the printer port, also known as a serial port, and this is basically the old printer port, which the newer motherboards don't come with. Next, we have SPDIF, which takes care of your audio. It's a digital form of the audio plugin. Next, we have the black port, which is the S-Video, and the blue port, which is a VGA. And these take care of your output display. The S-Video can be plugged into your TV and other devices, as your VGA can be plugged into some TVs and your monitor. As we move along, we have USB ports. As you can see, it has 4 ports on the back, and these basically take care of any peripherals that you might need to plug in, and these are basic plug-and-play devices. Next is the FIREWIRE port, also known as IEEE, and this takes care of your video editing. It brings in raw video from your camcorder to your computer via a video editing program. Next is the LAN port, which takes care of your internet connectivity to your network or your modem, and this basically gives you speeds faster than dial-up. And if you're going to get a new motherboard, make sure it has a gigabit port, which means that you can transfer up to 1,000 megabytes per second, better than before, which was 100 megabytes per second. Next, we have the audio jacks, which include the input and output. For output, we have the white, the black, and the light orange, and the green, which take care of your 7.1 surround sound, 5.1 surround sound, and 2.1 stereo sound. Then we go to the inputs, which the light blue, which takes care of your line in, and the light red, which takes care of your microphone. Do keep in mind that the line in can be used to plug in an external audio device, such as an MP3 player and or pianos, guitar amps, and that sort of thing. Now we move along into the inside of the motherboard. So the first thing you're going to notice are these 3 bar-like sockets. These are the PCI slots, which take care of your TV tuners, your network cards and sound cards, and a variety of other PCI cards. Next, we're going to move down to the bottom of the motherboard. So these yellow ones take care of your audio, and as you can see, it's labeled audio, and it goes to the front side of your computer panel, and it takes care of your microphone, your line in, and your speakers. The next connector is aux in, and this is for the old IDE CD drives. This is for the audio, but chances are you won't need this anymore. Next is SPDIF, which is the same thing we had on the back of the motherboard, but this one is for the front panel of your computer case. Next are the red pins, which are your IEEE and your FIREWIRE. Go to the front side of your panel of your computer case. Next, we have the white pins, which take care of your USB on the front side of your panel of your computer case. Finally, we move to the last set of pins, which is the black pins, and these take care of your power and your reset button. Also, your LED indicators like your hard drive and your activity. Do keep in mind that different motherboards will have different sets of colors. However, you can always look on the motherboard for a description of what the connector is. Next are these L-shaped connectors known as SATA or SATA that take care of your hard drives and your CD drives. Now they do come in different colors to indicate which the order of which goes where, but it is of unimportance. Next, we have the classical battery, which takes care of your BIOS time. As we move along from the battery, we have the IDE, or your old CD-ROM drives and your old hard drive slots, and your floppy slot, which is this little guy that's almost the same size as your IDE. As we move away from the IDE, we have the power connector, and this is a 24-pin connector. Most of the power supplies that you buy now come with 20 and plus 4 for your Intel and your AMD motherboards. Next, we have these long black slots which take care of your RAM, and they come in twos. So either your motherboard will have 2, 4, or 6. Next is the CPU socket, which is the center of the motherboard, and you also have the CPU, which is the little chip that goes in the CPU socket. Now there are variety of different sockets and chips, so be aware of that. As we move away from the CPU socket, we have this 4-pin connector here. That is your power to your motherboard. So when you're buying a power supply, make sure that your power supply supplies this connector. Moving away from the power supply, we have this PCI-E slot, which takes care of your graphics cards. Your video cards or graphics cards take care of your video editing or your gaming, and some motherboards do have more than one slot. And the last thing are your fan connectors, which include your CPU fan connector, which is this 4-pin, and your regular fan connectors, which are your 3-pin. Now, some motherboards do come with more than just these. Do keep in mind that if your CPU fan is not connected via the CPU fan connector, your motherboard may make a beep. Thank you for watching this first episode of Computer Basic on motherboards. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email me at burningmonkey@ymail.com or at administrator@burningmonkey.net. Thank you. I'm your host, Burningmonkey, and see you next time.